Assalamualaikum, brothers and sisters. Today I want to talk to our young Muslim sisters, the preteens and teens among you, about the heat and the summer and fashion. Now, in the Northern Hemisphere, we are in the middle of summer right now, and some countries are experiencing heat waves. And if you're living in them, you're probably feeling quite uncomfortable at the moment. Now, whether you're hijabi or non-hijabi, you may be facing from your parents that you have to dress modestly, you have to cover, you can't be showing skin. And many of you may understand why that's being told, or many of you may know, but maybe looking at your non-Muslim friends who are wearing the mini skirts, the hot shorts, the tank tops, and the crop tops, and desperately wishing that you can wear just like those. And you know what? It's okay to think like that, but I'm here to tell you that modest clothing can be looking fashionable, trendy, and on point. Now, modesty, as you all know, is what is the biggest characteristic of Islam. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, every religion has its distinct characteristic, and the distinct characteristic of Islam is modesty, and that was reported in Sunan Ibn Majah 4181. So that applies to every Muslim, man and woman. We must all dress modestly. We must all dress respectfully and decent. It's not just addressed to women, it's also addressed to men as well. So when you're sat there thinking, I wish I can wear the hot shorts, I wish I can wear the miniskirts, you know, it's normal to feel like that. But just understand, as a Muslim, we have to try and obey what Allah tells us to do. And He has told us that we have to dress modestly. Even if you're not wearing hijab, at the age of preteen, teen, you are starting now to experiment and probably changing the way you dress and look. And you might be struggling with that. But it's really important that you do try to cover yourself in the way that we are told to do. And there are great ways to do that. So don't feel like just because I've got to wear modest clothing, whether you're wearing hijab or not, just because you are being told you have to wear modest clothing doesn't mean that you have to look old-fashioned and not stylish. That is completely untrue. There are many misconceptions about modest clothing. You don't have to look like you are 20 years older than what you actually are. You can look stylish, you can look fashionable, and there are many nice fashion trends now within the modest clothing industry. Now, for those of you who say, well, covering and hijab isn't about fashion, that is a little bit unrealistic, because most of us nowadays, we want to look good, we want to look fashionable, and we are trying to follow trends. And especially the young people, whether young women or young men, they all want to try and fit in, and this is quite normal. So if you are a parent, or even if you are an older relative and you know that you have young people who are struggling, don't tell them that hijab is not about fashion. Okay, some people do have that opinion, and that is fine. But if you know they're struggling, encourage them and tell them that they can look trendy in today's world whilst wearing covered clothes, because that will encourage and motivate them, and that will help them further into their journey with hijab and with covering. It is very difficult as a woman to cover in hot weather, and all Muslim women will tell you that if they are covering. And if you are telling a young sister, you know, hijab is not about fashion, and you don't have to look like this, is discouraging. So it is better to motivate her and let her dress in a fashionable way that she can still wear hijab and still look good. So even if you're not wearing hijab yet, your parents may be telling you now is the time that you start to wear modest clothing, you start to adapt to the Muslim woman style of fashion, so to speak. So how can you do that? Well, if you are a young sister, let me give you some tips. First of all, there are so many websites available now that are selling modest fashion. And whether you're hijabi or not, you will find everything on these websites. And they are really nice, they're really stylish, they're really trendy. So if you are a young preteen or teen and you're struggling and you're wondering where to start, you can start looking on these websites. And you can look with your mom, look with your sister, look with your friends, and start to see what kind of clothing you will like that fits in with your style. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And that is a really good place to start. Also, why don't you look towards your Muslim relatives or Muslim friends? Some of them may already be wearing hijab. Some of them may not be wearing hijab, but they definitely are wearing more modest clothing. And you can look at their style and try and copy their style. You know, they say copying is the best form of flattery here. And in fashion, it really is. I have 2 nieces, mashallah, and they are wearing hijab. And they always look stylish and fashionable in their modest clothing. So there are ways that you can look great when you're covering your body. Now, just because you cover doesn't mean you have to suffer, right? This is a misconception too. And here is where you can be very smart and you should choose your clothes wisely. So, of course, first you want loose-fitting clothes, breathable clothes, and lightweight clothes. You don't want to wear things that are too heavy or too thick that you are really suffering under. And you should be choosing fabrics that follow summer rules, if you like. So like cotton, linen, chiffon, georgette, rayon, jersey, and silk. But avoid heavy materials such as polyester, acrylic, and nylon, because these will stick, they will make you sweat, your skin won't be able to breathe, and it will be unbearable. Covering your skin also has many health benefits because, you are protecting your skin actually from the harmful sun rays. And if you look in non-Muslim women fashion magazines, you will find that many of them advise non-Muslim women to cover up in the sun and wear the long sleeve kaftans and things like this, and to protect their skin and to stay cool. So, it's not just Muslims who are looking to these clothes to stay cool. Non-Muslim women do it as well. And you can look fashionable, you can look trendy, you can fit in, and you can look good. And that is what I'm here to tell you. So develop your own style. Look around at your friends or relatives and empower yourself. You don't have to look terrible just because you're covering your body. You can look fantastic, and you can also become a trendsetter to your friends or relatives who may also be struggling with this. Assalamualaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.